This is a fun problem that I like to do when we're talking about expressions and reading expressions and understanding what's going on in each expression. And it's more fun, I think, than the order of operations with its PEMDAS, which is trash, or BODMAS, which is also trash because it's the same thing. So today, we are going to do this particular exercise in which you will have chosen a month and a day, and you're keeping them secret from me. The month translates to a number between 1 and 12 in the usual way. January is 1, February is 2, and so on. The day is a number in that month between 1 and 31. So keep in mind that there's no February 31st. So make sure you have a nice month and a day. What I need you to do right now is to concentrate on that month and the day, but do not type it in the chat or say it out loud. Just think about it. Think about it. Now I am going to try to discern what the month and the day is using the power of math. So that is the mental connection. I just saw a show where they said fairy magic is tied to emotion, good or bad, and the strength of the emotion. So it's different because this is math, so it's tied to math. That's the magic. Now that you've got a month and a day in mind, I'm going to ask you to do some math things to those numbers. So I'm going to do it in an example, and I'm going to show you on the calculator how things are going to go, and I'm just going to write down what the steps are. So let's suppose, as an example, I'm going to choose as a month August. So that's going to be an 8. And as a day, I'm going to choose 24. Okay, so there's my month and my day. Oh, I'm a little out of focus. Let's see, maybe if I could lower the arm a little bit. I think I was just writing smaller than normal today for some reason. All right, hopefully that's a little bit better. I'll just try to write a little bit bigger. So I want you to perform some operations on these numbers, and I'm just going to number them. So first, I want you to multiply the month by 2. Take the month number and multiply it by 2. I want to demonstrate on my calculator over here. Oops. There we go. So I'm going to multiply the month by 2. So I'm going to take the month 8, and I'm just going to multiply it by 2, and that'll be 16. Don't tell me what that number is, otherwise I'd be able to figure out. Number 2. Keep in mind, I don't know what month number you picked. So step 2, I want you to add 7 to the result. So I'm going to take my 16 here, I'm going to add 7. But in secret, I'm not telling me that I'm doing this. That's step 2. Step 3, I'm going to multiply the result by 50. So I'm going to take my 23, I'm going to multiply by 50. And that's my new number. Everybody still there? There's 2 more steps. Step 4. Now we're going to add the day to the result. Once again, this is a number that you have not told me. So 4, add the day to the result. So I had chosen August 24th, so I'm going to add the 24 to my result, and I'm at 1174. Step 5. Subtract 365 from the result. So my number from the process, I've combined the month, the day, and all these steps into an 809. So that would be my secret number. Now I've done all these things to the month and the day, and I've come up with 809. So presumably you have a 2, 3, or 4-digit number that is hiding the month and the day. Any questions? All right. This number, the result is the secret number. This number you can tell me about. So once again, double check your math, take the month and multiply by 2, take the result and add 7 to the result, multiply the result by 50, add the day to the result, and then subtract 365 from that result, and that's the secret number. Now in the chat, I want you to type that number. So take a moment and type that number into the chat. I see a 293, a 337. Anyone else have a number? 409. Everything looks good so far. I'm going to write these down. Let's see, we're going to 293. 293. That one seems a little bit tricky. 337. I think 337, double check your math. Looks like something went wrong. Getting a lot of psychic feedback on that 337. So check that one out. 409, I see a 409. 986, pretty close, but yeah, I'm still okay with that. 986, is that everybody? Wow, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. Anybody else? So take a moment and double check that 337, and I'm going to grab the one. Some of these speak to me quite a bit, so let me concentrate for a second. I didn't wear my top hat today, so it's really hard. It's harder to concentrate. Top hats like collect all of your psychic energy up in the top. It's really useful, so that's why I have one. But I forgot to wear it because we're not in person. So something when I'm looking at these numbers, one of these numbers, something springs to mind. Something is springing to mind right here, and this 409. There's some kind of formula that springs to mind for this 409. So hopefully I'll be able to clean that up. That's all I got for 409. But this one is a springtime. This springtime number says to me. It says kind of it's giving me April vibes. It's giving me April vibes definitely, because it's a very springy number. And so this one says to me April, and it's also giving me a 24. Is that correct? Is 409 April 24? Whew. I think it's because it's like, you know, a little cloudy out today. So this number 409, it's kind of that was the most springy number. So this 337 we still need to check on. That one's giving me a lot of psychic feedback. This 293, however, 293. This one is actually giving me some kind of like on that border between the spring and the end of winter. So this 293 is giving me not quite April vibes, but definitely this 293 will march to a different tune. Yeah, I'm definitely marching to a different tune here early in March, single digits. I'm thinking this gives me a March. Is March 8th correct? Awesome. So it's working. This 986, this one definitely feels different. This one has a much cooler feeling to it. This one I was saving because this one is giving me October vibes, and October is one of my favorite months. So yeah, this 986, the 86 is kind of giving me, kind of giving me like a Microsoft or Intel computer chip vibes, but the 9 is really this 986 together. That's really speaking to me, October. And right at the beginning of October, when we're happiest about October. So this one says to me October 1st. Is that correct? Is 986, is that October 1st? Awesome. Have we checked the 337? Is 587? So 587, that sounds better. So 587, this one is very bright. I really like this one because I know a lot of students look forward to this, like the end of school and the beginning of the summer break, but teachers also look forward to this. So teachers are also looking forward to this because this one is very summery and bright. And it's giving me end of the school year vibes, beginning of summer, and right at the beginning. So is June 2nd what you had in mind with that 587? Awesome. So I went 4 for 4. Yes. Clearly, I'm not doing magical things because I'm not allowed to. The district is like, oh, Leach, you got to stop reading people's minds. It's like, oh, come on, it's such a great trick. And they're like, oh, no, it's not fair. I asked them for permission first, and they're like, oh, no, you can't do that. It's like, oh, can I look into their futures and tell them what they need to know? And they're like, oh, no future looking either. I'm like, oh, dang, I can't use any of my magic. I'm just kidding. I don't have any magic, which is a true statement that I am absolutely not required to state by law and stating freely. So clearly, there's something going on here. And because this is a math class, I don't like magic to run around. Because if we allow things like magical thinking, then we're setting ourselves up to be fooled, to be tricked. So I asked you to do a bunch of math stuff. Clearly, there's some math going on. What I want you to do is try to figure out how I'm going from the number that you gave me and using that to go back to figure out the month and the day. So there are 2 times in this process that you've introduced the numbers that I supposedly don't have access to, and somehow have gained access to 2 numbers. We talked yesterday about doing the inverse operations in reverse order, but when we add 365, how do I know what the day was? Because that had been multiplied by 50, and then there's been adding a 7, and all this other stuff happened to it. So I can undo the 365, but that still gives me all this stuff plus the day. And somehow I'm still getting that out. So what I want you to do, clearly I'm doing a secret math step. And I want you to figure out what is the secret math step. We don't have a lot to work with because there was only, we only have 4 numbers, but I will give you the one that I had. What did I have? I had 809, right? So I had 809, and that came from an August 24. So what I want you to try to figure out, and I'm going to post this in the discussions with a link to this video. And the discussion is going to be, try to figure out what is my secret math step. And then if you can figure out what my secret math step is, then I want you also to explain why this secret math step does what it does. So why does the secret math step work? So I want you to try to figure out just how I'm going from the number you gave me to the date that you secretly had. What was my secret math step for going from one to the other? And then explain why does the secret math step work by analyzing the operations that happen to the month and the day and seeing what's going on. Any questions? Next time, we're going to talk about why 9 and the multiples of 9 are not so magical, if you've seen that. So some people have seen that 9 has some kind of magical properties. It doesn't have magical properties. It's just 1 less than 10. And we count in base 10. That's all. So that's your job for now. Math Detectives activates. What is the secret math step that goes from the secret number to the date? And why, in the face of all these operations, why does the secret math step work? Any questions before we adjourn for the day? All right, that's going to do it for today. I will see you all on tomorrow. This will show up in the discussions. Have a great day, and thanks for playing.